Satan should buffet, no trial should come. Let this assurance control that Christ have regarded my helpless estates and that shed his own blood for my soul. It is well with my soul. Yeah. It is well with my soul. Oh, the bliss of his glorious thoughts. My sin, not in part, but the whole, is nailed to the cross, and I bear it no more. Praise the Lord, oh my soul. It is well. It is well. It is well with my soul. And God hates the day. Yes, Dominicans, that's where I want to say a special greetings and welcome to all of you locked into Q at this time. That is where we, yes, from the United Progressive Party, wants to say a special greetings and welcome to all of you out there as well in Radio Land. Starting a little late this evening, but it's no fault of ours, huh? So we thank you for being here with us nonetheless. And yes, we are well oiled, as it were, and ready to go. The multi-million-dollar question just before we get things kicking here, is it well with your soul? Is it well with your soul? Yes, you and you. Listening to Q. It is well with my soul. So it's already 15 minutes past the good old hour of 7 o'clock in Dominican, the regional space in which we live. Those of you in Dominica, a special good evening to you. Those of you in the region as well, thank you for your eyes and ears each and every time. And certainly those of you further afield, thank you for your company as well. Tonight being the 23rd night of May 2026. And yes, welcome to another program here in Q, from the United Progressive Party's end. All the members of this party thus far, good evening to you. And the potential members as well, good evening to you guys. And so that is how we want to start your evening, this evening's program, by asking this multi-million-dollar question: is it well with your soul? And once you can answer that question in the affirmative, then you guys are on the way. So yes, once it is well with your soul, that is very good news indeed. So yes, Mr. Joshua Francis is here. A very hard-working, patriotic brother, I must say. It is well with my soul. And so a very big program awaits you guys out there this evening. To all those of you in the social media end as already, good evening to you. Please tell Lou to tell Sue, tell Paul to tell all that yes, the United Progressive Party's program is on once again. And you know that program, we stick to the issues. We bring you a level of hope that is so desperate now needed in Dominica. So yes, the numbers to call into the program when we open up those lines in just a while, they are 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097, the digital line 616-4257, overseas line, those of you overseas and want to chip in, that number 305-432-9624. Yes, indeed. Let me say a special good evening to my brother here in a very big way. Josh, good evening to you, my brother, in a very special way. How is it? How are you? How are things?
Hi, good evening, Lofty, and good evening to our listeners, wherever you are, whether in Dominica or somewhere out there in Canada, the US, Europe, wherever you are, good evening to you. It is well with my soul. It is well, and I hope it is well with your soul for every listener here tonight. I know we have our challenges, whether it's medical, financial, physical, spiritual, whatever the challenge is, we are to believe it is well with our souls. Lofty, how are you doing?
Well, Josh, in spite of the many challenges that surround yours truly, it is well with my soul.
It is well. We're in the land of the living. We are giving thanks and praises. We are never guaranteed another minute, another day, another week, another month. And by virtue of the fact that we are here, we can walk, we can talk, we can sing, we can dance, we can cry. We have to express gratitude to the King of the universe.
True. As the good book says, in him we move and have our being.
Oh, definitely. And we're here this evening because we believe in the Almighty. We're here to provide a service, and that is centered on our belief in the Almighty. So we want to open up by expressing our sincerest gratitude, praises, and thanks to the Almighty, Lofty.
Indeed.
Another day the Lord has made.
And that is what we're asking folks out there. Is it well with your soul as well? So folks,
Indeed.
Just a few lines of this number. And so yes, we're going to open up the lines right about now. So in case you want to call, to just register your presence or support, now is the time to do just that. Again, the numbers, they are 449-3096, 449-3097, 449-3095. The digiline 616-4257. Those of you overseas, your number 305-432-9624. Christ regarded my helpless mistakes and shed his own blood for my soul. It is well. I'm being told of a suicide, allegedly, that is, somewhere in the Goodwill area. With my soul. So if anybody out there is impacted in one way, shape, or form as a result, we at the UPP, we think sympathize with you at this hour. My sin, nothing but the host. It's nails to the cross, and I bear it no more. Praise the Lord, oh my soul. Those of you on the social media end, whilst we wait for some calls. Stacy Daru, good evening to you. Stacy saying Kalinago territory is locked. I saw a smile on Joshua. Josh, Kalinago is locked.
Indeed, it is locked. Good evening, Stacy. I hope you're doing well. Good evening to the Kalinago territory. Good evening to Atkinson and Trizzle and the people of Concord. I hope you're doing well. It is well. It is well with our souls.
Is it well in the Kalinago territory, Josh?
It is well. It is well in many respects. We have our challenges, but we are grateful. We have life and we're moving on. As you know, Kalinagos are very resilient, very strong and courageous people. It is well.
True. Simeon George, good evening to you. Joanne Green, good evening to you. The brother Lemuel Corriott, good evening to you. A very good afternoon out to the brother earlier in the Pidit Savan constituency, where we were earlier, with Mr. Corriott walking the ground, as it were. You'll be hearing much more about that. Anthony Baptist says, I'm here watching and listening. Charlene Morgan is watching from Warner. That's part of the Maho constituency, huh? Viva Mama, which part of Dominica's constituency are you from? Which part? But Viva Mama is here nonetheless. Thank you, my brother or sister, for your eyes and ears. Josh just sort of set the foundation for the conversation to come.
Yeah, tonight we're going to keep the conversation very simple. We were on the ground. We spoke with a number of persons. And tonight we're going to address some of the issues which we heard on the ground: housing, job opportunities, youth development, education, medicine, health, etc. So we're going to keep this very simple tonight, Lofty. As you said, we just came from the PT7 constituency. We want to take this opportunity to say thank you to all those who opened their homes to allow us and to have conversations. Thank you for the trust which you gave us. And thank you for the confidence, and thank you for understanding that all of us are doing this together for the betterment of PT7 and Dominica by extension.
True. Neb Packet is saying, good evening, gentlemen, or good evening, gents. Mason Stewart is saying there, blessings from Atlanta, Georgia. Yes, all these folks are here with us this evening in one way, shape, or form. Last week we did this number, and when I left the studio and throughout the week, a number of people said, Lofty, I love this number. Could you repeat at least this weekend? So your wish is my command. Here is it once more. It is well with my soul. That's the reggae version. God hates the day when the faith shall be sight. The clouds be rolled back as it grows. The truth shall resound, and the Lord shall be seen. Even so, it is well with my soul. All right, I think we have someone on the line who wants to say hi and hello. Let's take this call. Caller, good evening to you. The UPP's program you're on.
Good evening, Lofty.
Yes, good evening.
Loda locked in.
Loda is locked in. What's the temperature like in Loda, sir? Read. All right. Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, we just came from Bellevue Chopin, and I can tell you, we literally had to run because, yes, it was raining a bit and it was very, very cold. Let's take this other caller here. Caller, yes, you're next. Good evening to you.
Lofty, good night, Lofty.
Yes, good evening, sir.
Happy to hear.
Oh, sorry. I apologize, my brother. I caught you off air. I am owning up. Thank you. Sorry about that. Please try calling me back. I caught you off in error, my brother. I apologize. All right, let's see if he's still there. Caller, yes, good evening.
Yeah, I'm saying good night again.
Again, I tell you my apology earlier.
Yes.
All right.
I'm calling from good area.
Mhm.
I'm listening peacefully. There's a crime happening in Goodwill back at Thailand tonight. I'm in fact. Somebody hung himself there.
All right. Thank you for that reporting. Thank you very much. Well, yes, I mentioned that earlier in terms of something happened where it is alleged, that is, someone decided to take their life. And so we wait on the authority now, on the authorities rather, for confirmation thereof and the facts relating to that story. But very, very unfortunate if it's true. And that is why we at the UPP, every Saturday evening, we help with that message of hope. Because we know, yes, there are very hopeless people out there that really can't take it for one more day. And so that is why we ask each and every one of you, there is a better Dominica ahead. So let's all keep hope alive. Let's take this caller. Yes, good evening to you. We've got to switch gear in just a while. Caller, yes, on the overseas line.
Lofty, good afternoon, and how are you?
Doing very well, madam. Long time to hear that voice.
I know that long time. Tell Paul I say hello for me, please. Please, long time to hear you. Okay, back in New Jersey for a little bit, but I'm just saying hello.
All right, and we accept that hello, and I will convey your message to Paul as well.
Yes, tell you, Mr. What's his name there for me? Hello, Mr. Forget his name.
Mr. Joshua Francis.
Tell Joshua hello. Yeah, God bless.
All right.
See you, man. See you soon when I get back, God willing.
All right, we're looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay. Blessings.
Bye-bye. Blessings. All right, Josh, it's the bottom of the hour, 7:30. The clock says on the wall. So in the interest of time, we have to basically start the program now in the true sense of the word. Josh, in terms of, what we were engaging earlier, I enjoyed the time. I always enjoy the time on the ground with the people, because that is where, when you come to speak to the wider general public, you can be speaking from a level of certainty, from a factual standpoint. And so this afternoon was no different. We walked the ground, we did what we had to do in terms of the meet and greet, and just hearing from the people. Sometimes all someone needs is just a listening ear.
Right.
And we had several situations, several calls like that this afternoon, where we just listened to the people. And when we started the conversation, you could feel the tension, but at least when we left, it was much easier. And so with that level of hope, that message of hope that we usually leave these people with, then we can feel the heaviness that they are still going through, but by we talking to them, it has been made much lighter.
Yeah, definitely, Lofty. We were able to share with the people. We, as we would say, we broke bread. We shared words, and we were both talkers and listeners, particularly listeners, and we were able to provide hope. We were able to show how we can make a better Dominica, and we listened to stories, and most of the stories had a common thread, and that is economic challenges, financial difficulties. We heard stories or narratives from persons struggling to pay for their children's student loans. We heard about the housing situation in Petit Savan. We heard about persons who have to work extremely hard to make ends meet and still had difficulties. We heard about the issues concerning the Petit Savan to Delices Road.
Yes.
And we heard a whole lot of things. And as I said, the cornerstone of what we heard has to do with the economic realities in Dominica. Things can be better, things should be better. And I think generally most of the people we spoke with agree that we need a change. We need a change. And that is that gave me a lot of hope and encouragement. Of course, the Petit Savan constituency is known, as you would say, as a labor stronghold. Lofty, even before we left the Petit Savan area, I said to you, the days when we approach people who declared themselves as labor rights, and they were hostile. We didn't have that. That fanatism for Labour Party, that confidence. Clearly, that has dwindled in a so-called Labour Party stronghold. We heard people who were in distress. We heard people talking about broken promises. People themselves admitted that they have been deceived by Labour Party politicians. We heard of an account where this lady said that the reps, the Labour Party pal reps, multiple of them would have come to her home and promised her to do certain things, and those things never became a reality. And she is right now broken, and she feels that she's no longer going to be deceived, and she's ready to make that change. Of course, we heard from other persons with similar reports, but they were not convinced why they should go and get confirmed to vote, because they have lost confidence in the system. One particular lady who echoed a lot of hurt from what she claims as deception by the Labour Party felt that she would have given up on politicians. But we listened to her, Lofty. She vented, she went on and on. And by the time we responded, because we were calm, we were cool, we allowed her to speak. And then we tried to show her that the challenges that she has had is because of the Labour Party government. It's not because of us. And she accepted that. She accepted that, if anything, that we will come in here with solutions. We were giving hope. We were telling her that things can change. And for her to get out of that situation, she would need a new government. And she accepted that. We were not going out there expecting favorable responses from everybody, nor did we expect for everybody to tell us from that point that they were going to support the opposition. We didn't go there with that mindset. We went there basically to hear the people out, to know what are the issues on the ground. Some of the issues didn't surprise us. Some of them, they came across very strong. The hurt, the brokenness. And I think that is why a lot of us urgently are on the ground, working tirelessly. After all, Lofty, at some point I said to you, look at what politicians have to go through. Opposition politicians, because it was raining. We were umbrella-less. We had to be running, dodging the rain, trying to get into one house to the next. But we stayed there, and we got it done. Of course, this is just the introduction into the Petit Savant constituency. We believe that is a constituency that can change course. That constituency has been voting the Dominican Labour Party from since 1990, is it? The last time any other party won in that constituency was in 1985 with Mr. Fedel. And then Urban Baron came in 1990 and basically turned that constituency in what we call a Labour Party Jade Patat. And the Labour Party has thrived and prospered in the constituency for all those years. If you look at it from 1990, that's 36 years of support for the Labour Party. And today, it is clear that the persons we spoke with, some of them in their 50s and 60s, admitting that all their lives they have supported the Labour Party, but this time around, they were going to make a difference. But Lofty, tonight, one of the issues that I want to address.
And just before you go there, Josh, I want to, before I forget, there's this narrative out there that would suggest, or some persons are saying that the United Progressive Party, which we are part of, we are a divider party in that we came to destroy and eliminate and whatever it is.
Right.
The opposition forces. The facts that you just spoke to in terms of the support for Labour Party in the Petit Savant constituency over the number of years, it clearly speaks to the opposition forces in Dominica has not made any much headway political in Petit Savant constituency. And here we are working the ground in Petit Savant to bring home the political gold. And so it will speak to, it will debunk that narrative out there that some persons are really trying to, sow the seeds of division.
Right. Well, Lofty, even before I speak about the housing situation, I'm happy that you brought that up, because we can use that as a case in point as to what our objectives are. And I'm happy that you have made the point that the Petit Savant constituency has been in the column of the Dominican Labour Party since 1990. A matter of fact, the Labour Party has always attracted over 1,000 votes at general elections. And the opposition figures, the majority that anyone has ever gotten would be 514 votes. And that was his Urban Baron himself in 2014, and followed by the UWP candidate in 2019. I think she attracted 506 votes, and that is Emmanuel. Rosanna. Rosanna. So when we're looking at is that the Labour Party has always doubled the number of votes that the opposition has gotten. And both candidates did fairly well relative to how other performers did in that constituency, that's opposition performers. And the constituency has been neglected. Matter of fact, one of the reasons why we found ourselves in that constituency today is because the caretaker for UPP, Mr. Lemuel Corriott, again, let us commend him for putting himself out there to represent his people, have been saying that they're not seeing anything from the opposition and they're basically crying. They want that alternative. And they had been telling Lemuel they want to see the team, they want to see the leadership of the United Progressive Party on the ground. They wanted some hope, they wanted some encouragement, because in their minds, somehow they have always felt that the opposition has a vacuum in the constituency. And that is why tonight a lot of them were delighted. Now, having said that, it is clear that we are bringing some kind of energy, opposition energy. And on the ground, we will not put in UPP first. We will put in the opposition first. We will put in Dominica first. We will sell in a product that promotes a unified opposition force. And I want the listeners to hear that well. When we're on the ground, in as much as we are part of the United Progressive Party, and by all means and measure, we have a right to promote our party. But out of selflessness and taking into account the objective that is to change this government, we promote a united force. And Lofty, even whilst we were on the ground, we met persons from other constituencies and we encouraged them to support the caretakers for the United Workers' Party. And if we did not have a mindset of working together, understanding that what we want is a better Dominica, and the only way we're going to get that is to pluck out Labour Party from office, then we'll be out there basically pushing UPP and not paying any attention to other opposition parties. But that is not our approach. It is not our objective. It is not our DNA. We have made it clear and we'll repeat ourselves. Our first objective here is to add value to the well-being of every Dominican. Even whilst we are in opposition, we're adding value. When we go out there, we listen to persons. We add value by our listenership. We add value financially when we can, because in some circumstances, some people need a little hamper. And we put our resources together, we make that happen, not because we do not advertise our good works. It means that we are not out there making lives better for Dominicans. So we're not waiting for us to be part of a government to make lives better for our fellow brothers and sisters. Whilst we are in the opposition, no matter how small we are in numbers as a new party, we add value. So Lofty, I am happy you brought that up, and we cannot and never must take it for granted that when people make those kind of points, we just let it slide because it's so distant from the truth. If anything, we are the leaders in the unified process. We are the leaders in the discussion as far as bringing all opposition forces and not just political parties, because we have to keep in mind in our democracy, persons can present themselves as independent candidates. So while some persons are only concerned about UPP having caretakers in certain constituencies, they're not acknowledging the fact that independent candidates can emerge. A man or woman can decide he or she is going to be an independent as a candidate at the next general election. Then what happens? You're going to tell the person not run? You're going to tell the person it's my constituency, it's my thing? No, you can't do that. It's a democracy. So we are trying to get everybody to understand. In certain constituencies, UWP may appear to be the stronger party or may have a stronger caretaker in terms of our perception. Now, what is stronger? What is strength? Because in some cases, those arguments are not even scientific. Because as we speak, no opposition party has any seat in parliament. And whether we like to hear it or not, that's a fact. The United Workers' Party has no body in parliament in terms of a seat. Nobody in parliament is representing the United Workers' Party as an elected member of parliament. The Freedom Party has nobody in parliament as an elected member representing the Dominica Freedom Party in the parliament of Dominica. Likewise, the United Progressive Party does not have any representative in parliament as an elected member voted on a UPP ticket and representing UPP in parliament. So mathematically, all of us are at the same level. But somehow, some persons think that they have control of certain constituencies based on the past. Based on the past. So certain parties did very well. In some cases, certain parties have won certain constituencies, and somehow, based on the past, some people think they have a stronghold in that constituency, and no other party should go into the constituency. No independent candidate should vie to become the leaders in that constituency. I think that thinking is fallacious. It is vacuous if you tell me. It is not consistent with science. The point is that every seat is up for grabs. The United Progressive Party is a registered entity. It is legally recognized. And like any other political party, it has a right to initiate movements in any constituency in Dominica. We can look for candidates, we can put up candidates. But in the spirit of unity, Lofty, both of us have shown no urgency, no aggression to look for new candidates. If anything, we have repeatedly told ourselves at our executive meetings that in certain constituencies, there are caretakers, opposition caretakers already. And we are not going to disturb the process.
And Josh, it's a good thing that you are basically taking your time and going through that thing with a fine-tooth comb, as it were, because that is the reality of the situation in terms of questionings and understandings that people have been pushing at us on the ground. Because a lot of people on the ground that we speak to, they have no clue as to what is this opposition unification effort about. They have no clue as to who to support the next election, because there's this sort of, in their mind, this disorganized opposition thing. We are getting a lot of confused people on the ground. And so I am very appreciative of the fact that you're going through this thing, explaining away as to what is afoot or what can be afoot and what is at this time taking place. Because when we hit the ground, as I said, there are many people. Even before we start the conversation with them, we can sense the level of confusion. They don't want to vote for Labour Party for sure, but they are basically asking us advice or suggestions or whatever it is. So I think we in the opposition thing, we can do much better in terms of doing the work that is needed and necessary on the ground. Let's speak to the people in terms and tones that they can understand. We should be spending much less time, quarreling or bickering or have this whatever it is among ourselves. The work really has to be done on the ground. That is what really matters, is on the ground.
Well,
for example, Thursday gone, yours truly went up to Campbell to do some groundwork. And the number of houses that I touched on the ground, the level of confusion that I'm speaking to, I found that. And so I just want to ask us as opposition figures, let us do more filtering of that kind of information on the ground. Let us let our people, our supporters know for a fact what they're about or what to get themselves involved in. Why not waste energy into thinking something else and something else is afoot? So I just want to say here that I appreciate what you're doing in terms of distilling, as it were, that sort of pertinent information in moving forward whenever the next election is called.
All right. Well, Lofty, thank you. Our job is not to splinter, break up, or destroy any political entity. Our job is focused on the upliftment of the well-being of Dominicans. We understand that for us to get the opportunity to add value to improvement of the standard of living, we need to change the government. So that is our objective. That is the first objective. Now the question is, how are we going to change the government? And in asking ourselves how we're going to change the government, we then realize, acknowledge, and accept that the opposition must win at least 11 constituencies in Dominica. Dominica has 21 constituencies. To form the government, a political party or political parties deciding to work together must have the majority out of the 21. That means that 11 parliamentary representatives must decide to work together. Amongst that 11 members, they'll decide who is going to be the prime minister. That is how our system works. The question is whether any opposition political party at this juncture can win at least 11 seats. Well, maybe yes, maybe no. When I ask the question, tell me, where is UPP going to win 11 seats? At this stage, we do not have 11 caretakers, Lofty. We have 7 caretakers. What that means is that if an election is called tomorrow, unless if there are additions, we can send up at least 11 candidates in that election. As I said earlier, it's not that we cannot get more. We can get more, but we have shown no aggression. And we have not seen the necessity in looking for candidates when we are aware that the United Workers' Party has caretakers in certain constituencies. Now, why are we not being aggressive? Why are we not being selfish? Why are we not saying that UPP is a party of its own? And rightfully, it is a party of its own, and it has a right to attract persons and send them up as caretakers and eventually candidates. But because of the objective, that is to change the government, knowing that we need 11 seats, we are prepared to sacrifice our growth to facilitate and accommodate the united force. What we see as the need for a united force. What that means, Lofty, is that in certain constituencies, we do not wish to send UPP candidates, because should we send UPP candidates in certain constituencies, especially marginal constituencies, what that would mean is that we are likely to take votes from the other opposition parties, hence giving the Dominica Labour Party an advantage or giving them a better chance to win. And therefore, we are not prepared to do that.
Now, Josh, just let's stretch that conversation a little bit there. There is stiff opposition in certain circles as to what you are prescribing / we are prescribing, in that united front, united effort, making it happen before the next election. What would you say to someone who, or people out there who are in that sort of mind frame or state of mind that, hey, your party, you say you call yourself a party, go your way, do your work. The other party call themselves a party, go their way, do their work. How would you respond to someone or people like that, of that mindset as we speak?
Well, first of all, let me acknowledge that people have their own thinking, their own ideologies, their own philosophies, their own intelligence, their own visions, their own likings, their own dislikes. And by view of the fact that we have varying views on subject matters, including that discussion, we accept and respect people's views. However, we are of the view that if we truly want a change of government, we have to take decisions which will give us that best chance. And so far, nobody has scientifically convinced Joshua Francis that any one political party at this juncture, at this very hour in Dominica, can go out there and conquer at least 11 seats to uproot the Dominica Labour Party from office. Because whilst we think that we may to be able to do that, Lofty, we just got the evidence this evening. Because there are a lot of people on Facebook, on YouTube, writing things, saying things, promoting their party. But when it comes to the actualization of winning the seats, you can clearly see, as a witness today, nothing is happening in certain constituencies. Nobody is going to win a constituency unless he or she go out there to do the work. So by having a party's name and talking about a party is not going to give victory to anyone. To win a constituency, people have to go on the ground and work hard and smart, house to house, engaging the people, building relationships, taking people to confirm, taking people to register. And that's not the end. staying in touch with the people, staying connected with the people, developing trust, developing confidence, developing hope. Unless and until such happens, there's no way no one can win those seats. And unlike the Dominican Labour Party people who go around and ask people, what do you want? And they walk around with a bag of money and give people money and give people appliances and give people some kind of material relief. And sadly, because so many Dominicans are vulnerable, they fall for that. And they may get confirmed to vote and may go back out there to vote the Dominican Labour Party. Now, you as an opposition individual or party, it's your job now to go and dislodge the people from that thinking, from that mindset, to persuade them that yes, you may get some money from the Labour Party, but support the opposition. So, Lofty, the point is that I would tell those people who are thinking like that to think scientifically, think wisely. Do not think of party first. Think of country first. Think of the people who are struggling. Think of the many 50-year-olds and 60-year-olds and 40-year-olds who do not have a savings. In some cases, they live with their parents. In some cases, they have large debts and they're not seeing their way out. Think of those people. Think of the young people.
Some people, Josh, they also add or compound what is their mindset by saying, we'll take a break in just a while at 8 o'clock, by saying that situations like that, the coming of parties like that have not succeeded in terms of, bringing the fruits to the fore politically.
But again, that is fallacious. And people who make that conclusion, for some reason, cannot be thinking right. The Dominican Labour Party, as it is in office resulting from that kind of collaboration. In 1999, had it not been the fusion of the Dominican Labour Party and the Dominican Freedom Party, the United Workers' Party may have been in office for another 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And that collaboration didn't happen just after the election. It happened before the election. And everybody remember the famous words of the deceased former leader of the Dominican Freedom Party, Dame Eugenia Charles: remove the United Workers' Party from office at any cost. Remove them at any cost. Those were her statement when you paraphrase what she said. Remove the United Workers' Party at any force. And remember, back then, it wasn't just the Freedom Party joining forces with the Labour Party. You had groups. I think there was a famous group in which Senior Counsel was a member, where they operated as an independent, objective party with the aim to remove the United Workers' Party. They too were part of the collaboration. So it's not just parties. So to say that has not worked before, that is a huge misunderstanding of politics. The people who came from the Freedom Party, they dropped their greens and they became red. And some of them now are bigger Laborites than the original Laborites themselves. In some people's minds, the party in power is the Freedom Party, cloaked with red. And you cannot fault people for saying that, because one of the former presidents of the Commonwealth of Dominica in recent times is Mr. Charles Savre, who was a former leader, or who is a former leader of the Dominican Freedom Party. The Prime Minister himself was part of the YFM. The former member of Parliament for Maho himself was a former member of the Young Freedom Movement. So we have an example right here that the government we have in office today was born out of a unified process. So they say sometimes you beat people with their own medicine. And this talk about, well, parties cannot work together because should they form a government, you're going to get a confusion. Again, that is wrong. We have an example here. The Labour Party has been able to be stable as a party in the governance of the country. They are not good performers. They're not good workers. They are not good administrators. But politically, they have been able to keep themselves as a unit. But at this stage, Lofty, it is really unfortunate that big men and women are wasting time talking about, opposition parties should not work together. UWP should work on its own. Freedom should work on its own. UPP should work on its own. To me, that is not scientific, and that discussion should have been done away with a long time ago. The discussion right now should be how are we going to win at least 11 seats in Dominica. And if it is Loftus Jura who is going to pull in our constituency for the benefit of the opposition, let it be. If you have somebody who can win lap lane, let it be. At this stage, for me as a leader of the United Progressive Party, it's about getting people who can win seats. And if any party or person who can win some of the seats that Labour has, kudos to them. Let us make it happen. It's not just about UPP having a candidate or UWP or Freedom Party. If an independent person emerges to be a viable candidate and can beat a Labour Party candidate in a constituency which is held by Labour Party, we have to embrace that. We have to accept that, because what we want is to have the Dominica Labour Party removed so that we can get serious men and women to be at the leadership in Dominica and to bring that much needed change for the betterment of Dominica. We have working policies, we have a vision, we are prepared to put our ideas into action to ensure that Dominicans enjoy more job opportunities, higher salaries, to see a Dominica where we export, to see an improvement in our health sector, see an improvement in our education system, see an improvement in the protection of our environment, see an improvement in the general well-being of Dominicans, so that Dominica will become the sanctuary for everyone in the world, not just the Caribbean. That Dominica will be the place where everybody wants to come to live and to enjoy life. It is possible. We have resources. We have beautiful people. We have smart people. We have water. Water, which is more valuable than gold and diamond and silver and fuel. We have it in abundance. So, Lofty, let us continue to do what we have to do. Hopefully, those who are behind wasting time, they will see what we are doing and they will join forces, because we need everybody to come. We need every hands on deck. We want to thank those who have seen the light. We want to thank those who have already been persuaded that UPP is not about dividing votes. UPP is about enhancing the chances of the opposition. And Lofty, when you were in the ground, as I said, we use phrases such as a united opposition, the opposition. And when we speak, our speech is laced with not just UPP, but opposition.
All right, Joshua, well said, well put. Let's take a little break at this time. We'll be right back in just a bit. Let's give also our folks out there that much needed time to digest, as it were, what you said basically. Etana, I rise. Will you rise? Will we rise? See, I'm hurting but not broken. Down but I won't die. Rise. Will we rise as Dominicans to do the right thing? At the right time, that is. Folks, yes, for those of you who are logging on at this time, I still believe. You are listening to the program sponsored by the United Progressive Party of Dominica. Joshua Francis and yours truly, we are spending some time with you tonight with the much needed information to make that right decision in the interest of yourself, in the interest of community and country. Those of you who have not yet confirmed, please, we beseech you, make that time. Set aside that time. My friend who texts and says she's listening, good evening to you. I hope you help spread the word as well, huh? So yes, folks, just in case you want to call in or chime in to the conversation we're having here, read the Politics 101 conversation, I call it. Your numbers to call into the program are 449-3095, 3096, 3097, 616-4257, 305 432 9624. Campbell, yes, we are coming your way. So this Thursday, we are coming your way, yes, the people of Campbell and environs. The United Progressive Party, yes, we are coming your way this Thursday near that main bus stop on entering the village. Will be perched right there. And so come and listen, come meet and greet as the message of hope from the UPP continue. Some people on the live feed, let us take some comments here, Josh, on the live feed, and then we will get back to the conversation. Just some of what I want us to explore tonight is what are some of the plans, the programs of the party, Yeah. We have to speak the UPP's language tonight. That the child, yes, the children out there, they too can understand. That is how basic we want to be interpreted. On the live feed, we have some comments coming in here. Someone by the name of Orville says, DFP should withdraw. UPP stands a better chance in certain constituencies. Why is the DFP still vying to contest the election? Josh, you want to respond to that first up before we take some more comments?
Well,
let's just take a pin. Let's take that caller here. Let's give that caller priority. Caller, yes, you're on. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Lofty.
Hi, good evening.
Yes, I'm from Taru.
Yes, Taru.
But I'm in Guadeloupe. Yes, I'm in Guadeloupe. You hear me?
Caller, can you just load on your listening device, your television set, your radio in the background? It is creating unnecessary feedback, and then just speak into your mouthpiece.
Hello.
I'm hearing you. We're hearing you. Go right on.
Yes, I'm from Taru, but I am in Guadeloupe.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we heard you. Continue.
And I'm listening. All what you all say is a fact. It's time to show that Jolie Mate outside.
Thank you, ma'am.
Jolie what?
Jolie Mate.
Jolie Mate.
Jolie Mate.
You came at my home already, in Taru.
All right. Well, I got many people homes, but yeah, I think I can recognize the voice.
When
yes.
you was working in Matt's place.
Oh, okay. I remember now. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
It's time to throw that Jolie Mate outside.
Jolie Mate. Jolie. All right, Mommy. Thank you very much for your call. Thank you very much. We do appreciate you.
Yes.
All right, indeed. All right, Josh, you were saying earlier before the caller from Tara residing in Guadeloupe called.
Yeah, Lofty, before we address the plans and vision of UPP, I wanted us to discuss some of the materials which we extracted from discussions with the people of Petit Savan.
All right.
One of them is the housing situation.
Yes, there's a caller here. Caller, yes, good evening to you. Wow, sorry about that. Please try calling us back. Yes. Josh, continue.
So, Lofty, we learned that over the past few days, there was a legal representative from the Ministry of Legal Affairs. A name was given to me, accompanied by another person from the Grand Bay constituency. And they were visiting households.
That person is consistent.
Yes.
Caller, yes, good evening to you.
The man said, Happy Raya. Julie Mate, Happy Raya.
All right. All right. Thanks for the interpretation.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
So my understanding is that um, the government representatives were going around informing the PT7 residents that the process for them to get their title was ongoing. And basically, they were informing persons that the issuance of the titles will be subject to certain conditions. And we heard of one lady who said she told her husband not to sign any document concerning that housing ownership and and to get the title. And she gave her reasons. Number one, she said the house which she obtained is laced with a lot of problems, electrical problems, that such that the electrical problems has burnt a number of her appliances. Furthermore, she's of the view that when she was up in PT7, she had a title, she had a nice house. The government declared her area as a disaster area, got her out of PT7. Now she's in Bellevue. It is over 7 years, over 6 years since she has been promised a certificate of title. She has not been able to get the title, and now government officials are coming to her to tell her husband and her family that to get a title, they have to sign certain documents and agree to certain conditions, such as they will not be able to lease the property, they will not be able to sublet, just to name a few, basically to have certain restrictive covenants. And it clearly, some PT7 residents take issue with that. And Lofty, I have issues with that myself. I know of another situation where the government representatives went to this gentleman who has no children. He does not have a spouse, and in the presence of others, the legal representative of the government asked the gentleman, who should he be got to get a title? Who would he leave the house for? And he mentioned somebody's name. And the legal representative, the government representatives, told him that you do not have any children, you don't have a spouse, and the government seemed to be helping you this $300. Therefore, they would give him life interest. But Lofty, if somebody owned a house in PT7 and as a result of Tropical Storm Erica and the decision of the government to have the PT7 people relocated at Bellevue, and now that the people at Bellevue, it should not be the government deciding who anyone should leave your property for. Well, at this stage, we cannot say it's their property because the people don't have a title. As a matter of fact, the legal representatives allegedly were telling the PT7 residents at Bellevue that the apartments belong to the state until such time. And legally, that is correct because the people do not have a title. They do not have a certificate of title. And the government owns the land and by extension, the apartments. And right now that the government is in the process, according to them, of preparing the certificate of titles, they want to do it under certain conditions, which put the people at a disadvantage. Because the time that has elapsed from the period when the PT7 people left PT7 to now, it has been a cost to them because they would have had their certificate of titles, which they would have been able to use as security to take loans, whether for a small business, whether for education, whether for health, whatever. What it means is that over the past 6 years plus, they have not been able to use their certificate of titles for PT7, nor have they had a certificate of title for the property which they reside in at Bellevue. So they have been at a financial disadvantage. And now that they are about, according to the government, about to get the titles will be issued under certain restrictive covenants, under certain conditions, which puts them at a disadvantage, at a lesser standard of living. And it's for the PT7 people to rise and to reject that. But PT7 people generally are very passive people, very nice, warm, kind people. And because they are passive, the government is taking advantage of them. Now, in addition to that, we heard on the ground that in recent times, the Prime Minister has made several appearances at Bellevue.
So just before you go, Josh, can I sum it up to say, based on what you said and what I heard on the ground today, that based on the conditions and whatever that has been laid upon the people by signing whatever it is, that the Labour Party, not the government, basically has been holding these people as political prisoners or there's some political ransom in terms of that aspect of things?
Well, clearly, the Labour Party operatives basically are manipulating the people. And Lofty, I'm happy you brought that up because right now it's kind of very difficult to distinguish between government officials and Labour Party operatives. They have basically become one. The Labour Party has been using state offices and resources to promote the Labour Party. And where our technocrats and public servants supposed to go on the field and to act as statesmen and stateswomen, they're acting as labor rights first before being statespersons. And that is another reason why we need to change this government, because this government has caused a blur between state operations and political party DLP operations. And that's exactly what is happening currently with the petty servant housing situation. Not only that, Lofty, out of fear that the petty servant people may either turn against the government or fail or refuse to go or to confirm to vote, the leader of the Dominican Labour Party and his wife have made appearances at Bellevue. The Prime Minister has been at Bellevue on several occasions for the year thus far. His wife has been at Bellevue. The PAL rep has been up and down Bellevue to the point where Labour Party operatives have been on the ground having parties and having good times to seduce the young people to go out and confirm and support the Labour Party. Last week and sometime during the course of this week, persons were given appliances. People have been given monies, envelopes of monies. Now, the Prime Minister and his team were at Bellevue telling the people that they are on the ground to visit the senior citizens, people 80 and above. And in many households, they were given envelopes of monies, allegedly. And they were also promising people appliances. And right on the ground, it's alleged that the Prime Minister took a decision to have the apartments power washed and to be painted right on the ground. We are not aware of any cabinet paper. We're not aware of any parliamentary decision. Clearly, we're not aware that the budget for 2025 to 2026 makes provision for that expenditure. It is a vai decision. The Prime Minister would have been informed that the petty servant people, like many other people throughout Dominica, have been discouraged to get confirmed to vote and to support the Dominica Labour Party. Some of the people have been talking. They have been saying, look, I have supported the Labour Party all the days of my life. I am now 65 and I'm done with that. So those kind of messages must have permeated in the office of the Prime Minister. So in response, he has been going on the ground and taking certain steps, vai with state resources. Because I'm happy that the people of PD7 apartments are being now power washed and will be repainted. But that's not the way to govern a country. You can't just, decide out of emotions or out of political expediency to make decisions of that nature when your government did not make any provisions for maintenance of those apartments. For years, you have heard certain technocrats on the other side asking for the government to set up a committee to deal with the maintenance of those apartments. Already, some economists and pundits have issues with the housing policy where those houses were given freely, apartments were given freely, and the PD7 people are not in that category because it's not a favor the government is doing them. These are people who have their titles and they're entitled to those apartments and to certificate of titles in Bellevue. But yeah, it is out of political desperation. In a so-called jade patat, the government of Dominica has decided to go ahead, just select a few people, make some people supervisors and managers, go ahead, power wash the apartments and repaint those apartments. Are they going to do the same for the apartments at Bath Estate? Are they going to do the same at the apartments at Cassibros? Are they going to do the same down at Laplin? Lofty, we have to pay attention to what's happening because some of the decisions basically are political and they're being done in preparation for the next general election in Dominica.
Yeah. I asked a question earlier based on the feed, Josh Reed, the Dominica Freedom Party that should pull out that person suggested. Your thoughts?
Right. Well, as we speak, I'm not aware that the Dominica Freedom Party has any candidate in any constituency in Dominica. I've heard talks about the leader of the Dominica Freedom Party running in Rosa Central or Rosa North, but I don't know how serious that is. The Freedom Party has not given any statement in respect to declaration of candidates for any constituency in Dominica, it would be nice if the Dominica Freedom Party were to present a few candidates in certain constituencies. Traditionally, places like the Sufria constituency was once the stronghold, it was once the cornerstone of the Dominica Freedom Party. As we speak, maybe the Dominica Freedom Party could get a candidate for that constituency. I'm not aware. Lofty at the United Workers Party has identified and cemented a candidate for that constituency. The UPP was once in discussion with somebody to be the UPP candidates in the constituency. We ourselves have not been aggressive in that matter. It's an open constituency, and we invite any leader from the constituency, anyone who feels he or she can make a contribution and would like to run on a UPP ticket. We are open for discussion. It's a party of inclusion. At this hour, our first objective is to add value to the removal of the Dominican Labour Party. It is country first.
True. George, just before we get into some of the plans and programs of the United Progressive Party, I paid particular interest to that young lady that spoke about her electricals in the apartment, the government given apartment. She said that all appliances, a refrigerator, televisions, whatever it is, basically just stays like that ever so often and get burned. So here it is. She said when the Prime Minister came to Bellevue Chope, she, had a discussion with him. And he on the spur of the moment again suggested certain things to her that should be done. Again, it's like, knee-jerk reaction.
Yes.
Now, I am saying, Josh, based on how the Dominican Labour Party operates in terms of the buildings in particular, these buildings, based on what I have seen, based on what I know firsthand experience, because I do a bit of construction. I'm an electrician. So that is why I paid particular attention to what she said. It could be, for example, when these buildings are going up, then the level of rain that is in that general area, that is Bellevue Chope, where we had some earlier. In the conduits, water may have gone into these conduits.
It's possible.
And we know how these contracts are being doled out without tender, without due care and attention. So here it is. I'm just saying perhaps, maybe if water had gone into these conduits, and these things have not been dried sufficiently before putting the wires in there, that could be a possible result as what that woman explained that is happening to appliances. So you have moisture in there.
Right.
Secondly, maybe again, without due care and attention, the Procurement Act went out the window in terms of these houses under construction. The wires that may be used may have been too small, so that now the load is on there, the insulation on that conductive material, it is getting too warm. Then it gets hot because of the extra load. And so you have a number of factors that could be as a result of the demise of that lady and appliances.
Right.
And instead of the Prime Minister giving the people of these homes the assurance that something will be done to rectify that kind of situation, he's just going knee-jerkly telling them he'll send this, he'll send that, and nothing. The lady said to us this afternoon, she's still waiting after 2 weeks of he promising to send somebody. Not the electrical division will come to do the test and they will recommend certain things in moving forward. No, he will send somebody. Right. And the lady has confirmed it for us.
Yes.
Nobody has showed up as yet. So again, it is just this kind of, knee-jerk thing. I tell you something, you respond, that kind of thing. And
right.
It's unbecoming.
But Lofty, that's very good.
Unbecoming.
Yeah, that's a very good observation. The Prime Minister did not see that he would send a technician,
a technical team from electrical division. That is why we have that division, Josh.
Yeah. And you just mentioned it. I mean, there could be a systemic electrical problem at the apartments.
And that is that lady, not true. That is just that one lady.
Right.
There are many other people who have complained to yours truly. I go to some of these places and repair appliances for these people based on what that lady said. So it is nothing new that I heard this afternoon. For example, in Cochrane, I live just above where these apartments or these homes were being constructed.
Yeah.
Josh, and from foundation to roof, I saw how these houses were being put together. I called the planning division to basically cite some of my concerns. A representative of the planning division then told me, Lofty, I understand your concern, but we have no documents for these buildings. So we are not authorized to come on site to recommend, to suggest, to do nothing. And Joshua, I can tell you, based on the erection of these buildings from foundation, very weak, very feeble foundation. And so as a result, people have been getting sick in those apartments because when it rains, water comes through these walls. These walls will not seal it properly. It's concrete panels they put together and they will not seal it properly. So the roof is like a strainer. The side of the building is like a floodgate for water to come through. And there are a number of people, because of the moisture which builds up that mildew, the occupants in there, they're getting sick. And McIntyre, Dr. Irving McIntyre, can attest to what I'm saying now, because a number of people came to him as pal rep of the area, citing some of their ailments. And it is said, it is reported on the ground, allegedly, he agreed with some of them that may be a contributing factor to what they came to him to see medically. So, Josh, it is a mess, and it is we, the Dominican people, who have to really rise, as Itana said, from that level of political nonsense.
Yeah.
For want of a better term.
Yeah.
We have been going for the past
Yeah.
number of years. Quarter century plus.
Yeah, Lucky,
it has to come to a stop.
It has to. And that's where we are coming in. We are here selflessly leading that effort to persuade every Dominican that the time is now. We cannot wait for another 5 years. We have been under the Dominican Labour Party government for lifetime. In law, lifetime is 25 years. We have been out there expecting better from a government in the first instance, which was not a visionary government. And the government clearly is tired. The leader is tired. And to worsen the situation, there are a lot of persons within the Dominican Labour Party government that are not interested in people. They're interested in themselves. And that itself should be a reason why Dominicans should get a change.
Sure.
You understand?
We were supposed to have tonight with us, Josh, a brother who is very versed in agriculture. His hand is in the ground. And so maybe next week or whenever he shows up here, he will, go a little deeper into the do's and don'ts on agriculture. But Josh, in terms of, I see time is slowly but surely running out. What are some people like to ask, what is UPP bringing to the table? Let's narrow it down to agriculture. What is UPP's vision for agriculture in Dominica?
Well, first of all, UPP is of the view that Dominica is not a producer. Not enough Dominicans are working. In any economy where people are not working, that economy is not going to prosper. We have had a government that has not created an environment for wealth creation. UPP are of the view that we need to create a new economy where people could create wealth. Not just survival, because most Dominicans are in survival mode. You hear Dominicans talking about working to pay bills. But we have a vision where we can create an economy where persons can grow wealth, not just to pay bills, but to be able to take trips out of Dominica for recreational purposes, to be able to have in abundance, to have leisure, to work less and yet enjoy more. That is the vision that we have for Dominicans. But how are we going to get there? And you speak of agriculture. The agriculture is one of the areas where we must improve, and not just spend more money in the sector, but to develop innovative agricultural industries, agricultural-based industries. We have been hearing it. We don't have to reformulate the ideas. So agro-processing, as an example, Dominica by nature has rich soil, has clean air, has abundant water. Those are basic requisites for a country to create an agricultural-based economy. And Dominica was agriculturally based until this government decided that agriculture is a yesterday industry and went into CBI. And for that, CBI will answer all the economic questions in Dominica. And rightfully so, the government had an opportunity to diversify the economy using the proceeds of sales from the CBI program. But the government never got to a point to understand, to grow Dominica and to grow Dominicans and to create wealth for Dominicans, we had to diversify the economy. So UPP believes in economic diversification. And in so doing, one, we want to expend more money into agriculture. We want to allocate more money into agriculture. But the vision that we have is not to buy more fertilizer and to poison the soil, poison the water, and poison our people. Because we understand there is a strong correlation between what we eat, what we grow, and our health. We believe that we pronounce Dominica as the nature island of the Caribbean. UPP wants to brand Dominica as the nature island of the world, and to base our agriculture on organic farming, to base our agriculture on clean energy, to base our agriculture on a diversified, agriculturally based economy. So in area of livestock, we want to bring in our technocrats to tell us which are the best breeds of sheep, goat, cows or cattle that we can have in Dominica, so that the abattoir, because yes, we have the abattoir, and we're not because it was born under the Labour Party that we're just going to put it away. It has use. We can put it into use. The objective is to reduce the import bill. First of all, we do not want to encourage Dominicans to consume more meat, but they are meat consumers. Meat has its purpose, it has its place. We have to reduce the import bill on meat. But Lofty, let me just take the point to say that we, for UPP, being part of any government, and mark you, being part of a government, we are not claiming government just yet because we are young. As I say, between now and the next general election, we may grow to 15 candidates and we may have an equal shot to win the election like any other opposition party. But at this hour, that's not our aim. But let me say, under my leadership, I want to encourage good health practices. Right now, Dominica has a serious problem, hypertension and diabetes. Those things didn't fall from the sky. You understand? That is highly correlated with the types of food that we eat. We eat too much sweets, we eat too much simple sugars, we eat too much processed foods. Under our government, we'll encourage people to have their backyard gardens. We'll provide the assistance, not by giving them cheap fertilizer, but by giving them the education and giving them the technical assistance for them to grow food without having to put a bag of salt or a bag of fertilizer in the soil. Because I think that under this government, we have recklessly used fertilizer. And now we are seeing the result. We are reaping the result. Not too far from Dominica, right? In Martinique, years ago, there was a study to ascertain why is it that so many Martinicans were getting prostate cancer and other types of cancers. And the study showed that in certain lands, so much fertilizer was being used, weedicides and pesticides, that it poisoned the bloods of people. And we are seeing a trend in Dominica right now where younger people are getting cancers. It may very well be related to the kind of foods that we eat, to the type of chemicals that we use on our soil. So under UPP government, we want to purge the soil, we want to purge our water, and we want to purge our people. For us to get there, we have to educate our people, we have to provide the technical support, we have to provide the financial support. On that basis, we want to carry out an experiment whereby we would declare part of Dominica as an organic zone, where it is forbidden to use fertilizers, weedicides, and pesticides. We understand that because of the tropical conditions that we have, weeds grow very fast, and to maintain an organic farm is very expensive. But just as we have expended a lot of monies on wasteful projects, we believe that we can allocate more money to assist organic farmers. Now, again, that is not anything new, because right under this government, we have had NGOs providing assistance for organic farmers. I personally know of one or two farmers who experimented with organic farming for many years, but the projects failed because, again, this government did not provide sustainable assistance.
Josh, thank you so much. We have someone on the line who wants to contribute. Caller, yes, good evening to you. You're on to the UPP's program. Caller, are you there? Are you listening?
Yes, caller. Good night, sir.
Yes, good night, sir.
Good night, Josh.
Hi, good evening.
We are hearing you kind of low. Can you speak up a bit, please?
Oh.
Caller, we're hearing you kind of low. Can you speak up a bit?
Yeah, I see you getting better now.
Yes, let's try that.
I just want to support your point on the organic. And you know the way we eat our diet. I've been saying that if you're listening, I have in a program on Sunday afternoon before Peter Prost and Oprah come in on Cairo FM, which will be starting around 2:37. So, and those are the points I just try to bring across. And I like this topic to talk on our health. We can do everything else, and our health not in good shape. We are people that are not going to live long. For instance, number one, we're not producing enough. and like they say, organic food. If you listen to Mr. Jolly's program on Friday afternoon, he had a very good program, speaking to Matt on the afternoon program, and I believe that's a program that he should replay on Sunday afternoon to educate the people, just as what just saying that when it comes to our health, those pieces there, somehow they should clip it off and run it on Sunday afternoon when everybody home, relaxing, that they can listen more. That's all the listening is. But just on the point to talk about madness, the people used to use a lot of high chemicals, premixes, gramazone, pins, and a lot of those, how they was doing it, they spraying the helicopter right over the farmers. I live in Guadeloupe, and exactly what you're saying there. I know some farmers where I was working with an old man. He never used no gramazone, no chemical. What he was doing, go by the river, you get his river sand, and he spread it under the field and he put cardboard. And that man was producing, always producing planting. And that is the way we have to go. And I've been trying to say that for the longest while. I've done farming, I've done tourism, I've done manufacturing. And there's no hope into those things. And I've been screaming, crying. We write to this Ministry of Small Business. I believe the young lady from Ben, we write a project up to even get that building right across the ferry terminal. Wallet wanted a part of it so that he could have his embassy office so that people are going to Guadeloupe for medical use. We can give them address to the doctor they have to go by, and we would have a part of it to sell our product like what Gail Depot does at the open market with Dominica, real small stuff like what Savile Mackenzie had done. He had a buy Dominica product some time back when he needed support and stuff. So we write to her, and she never opened that letter. She leave it on her desk, and she also produced it. She's a lady that do manufacturing. I remember a day she used to be on the street hustling like anybody else. And there is something about us, because I don't know what to speak of target. But these same people now, even look at them, most of the products are in the same little shop, we cooperative organized. Like I said, after we do this training under the European Union, that's where the idea comes from. We go off target. If you look at our products are in that same little shop. And
all right, caller, I don't want to mean to cut you off, but in the interest of time tonight, can you just bring home that point in a very succinct manner so we can continue, please? Thank you.
I just love the program Mr. just talking about. And I believe that's the way we have to talk. It's not always about the politics and the who. We have to find ways to get our people out of the struggle, because we can come and talk about the government, but if we don't create avenue for the people self that's struggling, you know, going to make sense. And I've been saying that. And
all right, thank you, thank you for winding up on that note. Thank you very much, caller. Thank you. We got the point. Josh, basically that caller is saying that he love what he's hearing from the UPP's plan, at least for the agricultural sector we're talking tonight, and that is the way that we should go. Speak more to the common/ordinary man,
right,
so that they can understand, as to what is afoot for better Dominica.
Yeah, and Lofty, we understand the terrain of Dominica, so we are not going to have huge farms. We are not competitive for any agricultural produce that requires huge acreages or hectares of land. The limited land that we have is just a question of making it very productive and producing what can sell on the market. And there's no reason why Dominica cannot be declared as an organic island. There's no reason. But again, as I said, we can take it one stage at a time, because ultimately the vision I see for Dominica is Dominica becoming the sanctuary of the world. We are seeing it. The world now wants to reverse the trend of poisoning itself. So we're having discussions throughout the corners of the world about green economy, green energy, green agriculture, renewable resources, etc. Now, we need to pay attention to those discussions. Those discussions are as a result of the fact that the leaders of the world have come to realize that in the materialization, in quest to grow economies, they have destroyed waters, they have poisoned soils, and they are poisoning humans. So in an effort to reverse that trend, they want to go clean. We here in Dominica, we are clean already. So it's just a matter of maintaining that cleanliness and promoting it to make our lives better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We don't have to import water. We do not have to import ideas. We have the ideas. It's just a question of having the will to use our water for the benefit of every Dominican, to use our soil for the benefit of every Dominican. And that is why the UPP's philosophy, economic philosophy, and economic strategic plan is grounded on the nature, is grounded on what God has given us.
We already have it.
We already have it.
We just have to harness it.
That's it, Lofty. So what we have, a lot of countries are envious of it. They wish if they had it. They had the luscious, the forest.
Mhm.
They wish if they had the clean water, the clean air, the peace that we enjoy. But we have a government now, not only that government has failed to harness what we have, but right now to facilitate the destruction of it in the name of the construction of an international airport or road projects. And we by no means and measure, we are not saying that those projects are not good for the development of Dominica. What we are saying is that we can do those projects without destroying our environment, without destroying our water, our biodiversity, our marine parks, our rainforest, our watersheds, our mountains, our hills, our valleys. Lofty, that is what we have. Those are gifts from God. And we have to appreciate what God has given us and to make the best out of it. So UPP really is going to unleash a strategic economic plan for Dominica, and it is dubbed the 12 Theses. The 12 Theses for the development of Dominica. And one of those theses is based on the agricultural industry. Because we believe that for agriculture to be viable, we have to modernize what we do. We have to give the first of all, we have to encourage farmers to go back on the field. We have to encourage young people to see agriculture as a means to make money and to live a comfortable life. We have to make agriculture attractive again. And we have to educate our farmers. We have to provide the support. We have to build the feeder roads, fix the feeder roads, open more feeder roads so that farmers can access new lands.
And Josh, I'm hearing somebody now listening to you, listening to us. They're asking the question to themselves or saying it out loudly. I hope Josh is not just saying those things as pie in the skies promises as a quote unquote politician. And then when he gets there, when his party gets there, then that will be thrown out of the window.
Well, Lofty, again, we have to make
Because they have been hearing that over and over.
Well, they have heard many things over and over. For the past 26 years, they have heard about taking Dominica to the next level. They have heard about Libre Qu'à Travail. They have heard about Dominica becoming the first climate resilient country in the world.
The reset.
They have heard about resets. They have heard about the construction of the international airport, providing job opportunities for everyone who wants to work. Lofty, we have heard it. So I cannot fault Dominicans for being discouraged or not wanting to trust politicians. But Dominicans have to be in a position where they can discern between who is faulty, who is fake, who is not fake, who is genuine, who is not genuine. I am not going to beat my chest and tell all Dominicans I'm a genuine person. My track record speaks for itself. Your track record speaks for itself. Dominicans are listening to men who are proving themselves. For me, particularly, I've been in the fire, I've been out of the fire, I've been in the oceans. I have had to go through the terrain of life, and I'm still standing. And I'm here today, not for Joshua Francis. I'm here as a servant, and I can honestly and confidently say that you too, Lofty, you're here as a servant. And the persons thus far who have formed the executive of United Progressive Party and the members who are assisting us are genuine people. We're not here just to sprout things, say things, pally, just to win people's hearts and minds to get into an office. To me, it's more than the office, Lofty. To me, it's more about having the opportunity to raise not just the material wealth or health of the nation, but the spirit of the nation. Because
Sure.
I believe once you can touch the soul of a human and make that person happy and make that person more comfortable, you would have achieved something. And I live for that. I live to see people's lives better, people feeling better, people thinking better, people being more positive.
Talking about lifting spirit, Josh, that struck a note right there in that a number of people, Dominicans that is, who have gone abroad, when you speak to them, when I speak to them, I get that sort of feeling, Lofty, unless and until this government do come out there, I'm not even prepared to think of coming back to Dominica. They are so, as you rightly said it, broken in spirit. There's nothing to come back to. They are not proud to be Dominicans again. And so, yes, if UPP can help resuscitate, as it were, that dead, broken spirit that we can only contribute or attribute rather to the Dominican Labour Party, then we would have done at least one good thing. It is to help Dominicans be Dominicans, help Dominicans have confidence in their country once more,
Yeah, well, definitely,
to
Lofty.
lift the spirits.
Right, as Trump said in America, to make Dominica great again.
Because even in Dominica, when we walk across the length and breadth of this country, Dominican shoulders are broken.
Yeah, you can see the fear in people's eyes. You can see the despondence. You can see the hopelessness. You can see the pain and sadness in many people's eyes. You know, people are literally struggling because money is power. Not many Dominicans may think of getting wealthy or wanting to get rich. Dominicans have been conditioned to just live, to survive, to pay their bills.
In survival mode.
Yeah.
Let's take a pin here. Caller, yes, good evening to you. UPP's program, you are on. Caller, good evening. Caller, are you there? All right, I guess you're not. Try calling us back, yes? Yes, Josh. Yeah, you're talking about...
So again, Lofty, we want to create a Dominica where people can think of wealth creation. People can create jobs, more self-employment, more agro-processing. We want people to be happy. We want people to be light-spirited, to have a light yoke. Too many Dominicans are going to bed with a heavy burden. Too many Dominicans are restless during their sleep because of being worried of how they're going to pay their mortgage, how they're going to care for their children.
I agree.
Too many Dominicans.
All right, Josh, let's go back to the live feeded tips of comments here. Viva Mamo writes here, all is well, Lofty. I guess that was our previous conversation. Viva is a pro-Dominican. Constituency is a particular, something up. Viva, like you and Josh, is contending for the betterment of a nation. All right, Viva, thank you for the trust and confidence in that. And we know where you stand, yeah? Someone else writes, in every constituency, there are people who would prefer UPP option rather than Labour. What then happened to these people? They might choose to avoid the ballot. If I understand Josh and some of what that person is saying, that person is basically saying that there are people out there who will not vote Labour Party, but when they look around in terms of options, there's none.
Well, there are options. And I think we need to help Dominicans to stop saying that there are not options. There are options. Any and every alternative to the Labour Party is an option. And it doesn't take much to understand, or it's not supposed to take much to understand, that after 26 years, this country has, on paper, grown economically, but in actualization, in reality, most Dominicans have not grown financially. Most Dominicans' happiness have not increased. Most Dominican joy has not increased. We want a Dominica where people are happier, people have a lighter yoke, people can feel that they are making headway. People can feel comfortable. A 70-year-old man or woman can say that my child will be okay. My grandchildren will be okay. But not many Dominicans are thinking that way. A matter of fact, people are encouraging their children and their grandchildren to leave state and go elsewhere, understanding that opportunities there are limited. Lofty, take for example, if someone is living in the Kalinago territory, or he or she finds a job in town, and that person decides that he or she wants to commute to and from work every day, let's say 5 days a week, it is going to cost that person $1,000, Lofty, because it's $25 for transportation. Let's just say the person doesn't have a vehicle, the person has to commute for public transportation. You're talking about $25 a day. You're talking about $1,000 a month. So if that person earns $2,000, half is already taken up by transportation. If that person decides that he or she is not going to commute on public transportation, that he or she is going to get an apartment around town, you're looking somewhere, an apartment is easily somewhere between 700 to 1,000 unfurnished around town. In town, it's going to be more. So really, that person disposable income, let's just say the person earns $2,000. That person's disposable income may be less than $1,000. And then you have to take into consideration food. If the person wants to buy a little car, you have to take into consideration the car loan. So what is left for that person to put aside to acquire a portion of land for himself or herself? Think about it. That is the reality in Dominica. The financial hardship. That is what is plaguing Dominicans. And if somebody were to ask me what is the biggest challenge for Dominicans, I would say a lack of cash. Cash is power. Cash allows a man to pay for his medical bills. It allows a man to send his child to school. It allows a family to send a child or children to universities. It allows people to travel for leisure, for business, just to name a few. And Dominicans do not have cash. Had it not been for the informal economy, the barrel economy, meaning that relatives sending barrels and assisting families to pay bills, more persons would be sucking salt. And in spite of the assistance that we are getting, we are still struggling. Not many Dominicans can boast that they have a lot of money in the bank. Now, the IMF reports suggest that our savings propensity in Dominica is still high. The financial institutions are very, very liquid. But Lofty, who are the creditors? Who are the people with the money in the bank? Does that credit represent a cross section of Dominicans or a select few of Dominicans? I would say a select few. Because being on the ground, I have come to appreciate that barefoot Dominicans, ordinary Dominicans, are struggling financially. But why should a man in his 50s or 60s fail to have at least $5,000 saved in a credit union account? And $5,000 in a modern economy really is no money. $5,000 can be blown up in one day. To take scans, for example, somebody gets sick and the person is at the hospital, the person has to pay for scans, for medication, etc. $5,000 is not going to last very long. And one of the reasons why we still have a number of senior citizens supporting the Dominican Labour Party is for that very reason. They are financially vulnerable. They get $300 at the end of the month, and they think that that $300 is better than nothing. And in return, they support the Dominican Labour Party. We have to change that mindset, but that comes through education, that comes through consistent education. And that's why we're here, Lofty. We're part of the movement to get Dominicans to understand that things could be better. We get reports from people who travel. People come from St. Kitts, they come from St. Lucia, they come from St. Vincent, and they tell you, they appreciate that Dominica is really behind. So UPP wants to bring a vision to diversify our economy, to modernize our economy, to digitalize our economy. Now, we spoke about agriculture. There are several other areas we believe we can bring more development into Dominica. In agriculture alone, we can create at least an additional 100 jobs easily. Agro-processing. There's no reason why we cannot have a powder factory to process cassava, turmeric, ginger, to name a few. One factory can do that. We can have a factory where we have the plants to process those things. And there's a high demand for turmeric, for ginger, for cassava on the local market, in the regional market, and internationally. And you're looking at products which does not require any major transportation. They're not bulky products. You process cassava, you put it into powder. That's not very heavy. You can get that into St. Lucia, Martinique, and Guadeloupe and allow farmers to make money. And when farmers make their money, their family benefits. And we have had that history in Dominica in the green gold era, the banana era.
True.
We saw how people were able to buy their vehicles cash, build their houses cash. We can get back there.
Yes, indeed. Signal Band said every day something in Dominica, huh? Indeed, every day something in this country, huh? Let's go to the caller on this line. Caller, yes, you're on. Good evening to you.
Not sorry for calling back, but just such a point. We talk about local industry, manufacturing. Just look at Mr. Oscar, the former banana manager. Look at how he's writing the bananas and he's the whole atmosphere of producing in a different way. And I've been saying that for the longest while, and I don't know why. And the sad thing about it is when I see the youth, a lot of the youth that support the politicians, Yes, they send some people and study. Yes, they do a lot of development. I don't have a problem with that. But what we can do to help ourselves? Look at all these imported food retailers just saying that. That is what is destroying us. The sugary food, the food with a lot of preservatives. And as just was saying that we can make flour from a lot of those products. And I'm saying the bank have the money there. The state bank has something like $55 million. Put up a small plant. I tell you, yesterday, Mr. Jolly was speaking about that he trip, how much he enjoyed the trip. Just when you drive from Scotland to Portsmouth, it's just supposed to just bars, local bars, and entertainment is supposed to stay in there. When you want to talk about tourism and seldom and nature, as he was saying, I go to Barbados. What Barbados have is nothing compared to what we have. Just look at the Catholic Church in the center of Rosewood there. Just that's a UNESCO heritage site. Just look at some big buildings you have on the other side when you're going up to the cemetery. I think Mighty Pascal used to do a lot of local manufacturing in mat, hat people, and a lot of young women doing mat. Just you have to bring down some of your indigenous in those places. You have to get the Catholic Church to rent to one of the buildings. Just look at the package we have there. That's part of our culture, our manufacturing. And I don't know why it is there. And the sad thing is the youth. And I tell you, the young people that put this vote in the government, but to me, they're not playing one part. Mr. Jolly talk about skills, a school for skills, welding, building, tiling. But just, I don't know. Good night, brother. Just,
All right.
I think the politicians have too many people around them, dividing them, even themselves. The Prime Minister, I believe, you have too many people around him.
All right, caller. Thank you very much. Thank you indeed.
And they're supposed to be building the nation. And I think that for taking power, took over those things because you're always asking for unity. But his own people around him breaking down people and dividing.
All right, caller. Thank you very much. In the interest of time, we've got to take you out on that note. But your point is well noted nonetheless. Maybe Josh, you have to give this particular caller some time on air with us. Huh?
Yeah. I think we probably should allocate at least 30 minutes to him because he always has some valid contributions to make. Sure. I love to remember we have to visit this farmer in the Casterbridge area.
Yes, indeed.
You understand? We promised the gentleman. We have to keep our words.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to the live feed, Josh, before we bring it to a wrap tonight. Ronald Said Sabruch. Good evening to you, my bro. He says here, we just need proper implementation of the principle of sustainable growth in agriculture in an organic way with all the resources that we have. My mouth is mine. Ramona, good evening to you, my friend. Patricia Fontaine, good evening to you as well. In a house, you see people roll on. Somebody not telling the truth. What happened to become a school room? Joanne Green writes here, and this is so sad. They can't go to take a loan with the property. I guess that is the conversation we're having with the Petit Savant people earlier. And the new settlement in the Bellevue shopping area. Make me feel like a fool when I see them children fighting after school. And what really take me mentally is to see them children throwing alcohol. We need an intervention. We do. The capital still need to raise 7 million. Customs have us on ice. Yes, they do. And Sinn Féin still want to come and. All right, folks, here we're just giving you a bit of entertainment in between, huh? They say all work and no play. In that case, all the information from UPP and not a little entertainment in between. It may not be of value to you, huh? So we try to cater for each and every one out there as well, whilst giving you all the necessary information you will need to help make this Dominica the best in the world.
Oh yeah.
Talking about tear gas, my dear friend from AMO, good evening to you, my friend. And Emmeline herself was elected, I believe, or was selected as chair of that council, that village council in Tebow, I believe.
Pebush.
Pebush. Emmeline Anselm, good evening to you, my friend. Thank you very much for service you are rendering to country in more ways than one.
Yeah,
Yes, Josh,
definitely.
as
Congrats
we
to
must
her.
bring it to a wrap in just a while.
Yeah, well, Lofty, I guess.
We started a bit late, so we have like 10 minutes.
Yes, Lofty. But we want our listeners to understand our mission here is to help to remove the Dominican Labour Party in government. The ultimate mission is to contribute towards a better life for Dominicans. We want to see a better Dominica. We want to see an improvement in the well-being of every Dominican. That's our ultimate objective. So our efforts are not just to change a government, but ultimately to add value to an improvement in the standard of living of every Dominican, to allow every Dominican to be able to smile and feel relaxed, to have a lighter yoke, to be able to build his or her own house, to be able to travel, to be able to pay medical bills, to be able to have a healthy life. And for that to happen, we need to change this government. And we are calling on every Dominican to ensure that he or she goes out there to confirm to vote. You cannot participate in the electoral process if your name is not on the electors list. You cannot participate in the electoral process if you do not add or make your contribution. And the contribution we're asking for initially is to go out there, get confirmed to vote, register to vote, and to add whatever you can, whether it's financial support, because being here comes at a cost. We have to grow the party, we have to campaign. If you cannot support financially, do so spiritually. You can do a combination, because some people do not have the cash. Most Dominicans do not have the cash, but you can pray, you can give moral support, you can stay quiet. If you don't have something good to say about the movement, it's best to stay quiet and to stop this divisive talk that UPP is out there to divide, or UPP is a component of Labour Party. That's just foolish talk.
Talking about that, Josh, can you just repeat or go ahead with the website for the party?
Yeah, so the United Progressive Party has a website. You can find us online. It's www.uppdominica.com.
Dominica.com.
That is www.uppdominica.com. Again, we're up in tune with the modern world. You can go out there and register to become a member of UPP. We have an email address that you can reach out to us if you have a concern, if you have a suggestion. We also have a donation page if you want to make a financial contribution. If you want your financial contribution to be recurring, you can do that. If you want to make a one-time contribution, you can do that. On the UPP's website, there's a constitution of UPP. You can read it. You realize that we have a very distinct constitution. Our constitution actually provides for an environmental secretary. It provides for a diaspora secretary. It provides for a council, to a policy council, where persons can come together and discuss plans and visions for Dominica. So our constitution is very interesting. And of course, there has been a discussion about whether a prime minister should serve 2 terms or less, or at maximum 2 terms. The Constitution of United Progressive Party provides for a leader, should he become a prime minister, not to exceed 2 terms without the approval for a 3rd term, and 3rd term would be maximum. So we listen to the public. We have taken the ideas that the public have to put in our constitution.
True.
So our constitution is very modern. You can get it on our website, again, www.uppdominica.com. You can also read about the party's policies, the party's ideology. Some people are asking, what is the ideology of UPP? You can go on the website to get that information. So please, if you haven't gone on the website, go there tonight. If you want to speak to myself, Lofty, or any other member of the party, feel free. You can find us online. There's the executive named on our website. There are email addresses. You can check us on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever you feel it's appropriate for you to engage us, because
True.
we are doing this together. We are not on our own. We are going to do this together.
True. Some comments, Josh, before we say bye tonight. Neb Packet writes here 2 comments. I'll try to read the 2 of them. He says here, I just think there needs to be an ideological and people-centric pathway that can be attributed to us as Dominicans. And then he says, this pathway of if planned properly and followed through the collective, can uplift our socioeconomic reality as a country. He comes back to right here. The people need something to look forward to, something to dream about that is achievable as a society and as an individual. Would you agree, Josh?
Well, yes, of course, Lofty. I totally agree. And let me just say,
Talking about the Dominican dream.
yes. But Lofty, that is what inspires people, because you may not have something, but if you see it coming, whether for a dream or a vision, that empowers you, that gives you the energy to keep going.
Mhm.
Now, let me just say good evening to Ned Packet, and thank you for always joining our program and making some valid
Solid
contributions.
points, yes. Charles William writes here, make sure you have your receipt after confirmation.
Yeah, and while you're on that confirmation point, let me encourage people to get confirmed to vote. And let me remind the women, those who got married after they would have registered to vote, that when you go to confirm, you have to take your birth certificate and your marriage certificate. Because if you have your maiden name, meaning that before you got married, you got registered to vote, you will register in on your maiden name, that is your father's last name or your mother's last name, whichever. Since you have gotten married and the voters list has your maiden's name, you have to bring your marriage certificate and your birth certificate and you have to swear to an affidavit to have your name changed from having your maiden name to your marriage last name. If your birth certificate has a spelling of your name different to what is on the voters list, again, you must bring your birth certificate, bring an ID, and you have to swear to an affidavit. Just some basic information before you go to a confirmation center. Please go to get confirmed to vote. If you have anyone in the household who is eligible to register to vote, please take that person to get registered to vote.
True. All right, Josh, I think time well spent tonight. Any final thoughts that you want to just register in the minds of Dominicans listening?
Well, let me just say to every listener that I want to thank you for joining us tonight. I want to thank you for your support. I know that there are more listeners than callers. Some people, they are out there listening, they're quiet, they're not calling in, but they enjoy the program. I meet people who say, Josh, I enjoyed the program. Josh, I hope that you'll come back next Saturday. You'll come as often as possible. I want to thank you for listening. Those who were on the social media platform, thank you for joining us. Those who contributed, thank you. And thank you to the people of the Petit Savant constituency, the people in the Bellevue area. Thank you for allowing us into your homes.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for those who have already declared their support to the United Progressive Party. A special good evening to the members, the executive of UPP. Special good evening to the people of the Kalinago constituency, the people from Sineku down to Concord, the people of Antrizil, the people of Atkinson. Good evening. I hope that you're having a good one. I'm glad that you are now the epicenter for change in Dominica. The first people of Dominica and the people of Atkinson and Concord have already led the way. They have started the path to bring change to Dominica. The change and the shift which is happening in that constituency is now permeating into other areas of Dominica, and we'll realize that change. So I just want to say to Dominicans that the change will come with your effort. Put your hands into the mix. You have a contribution to make. Put your heart, your mind, and your soul into what we are doing. There's no other way for us to get that change. All of us must come together. We must work together, and we must look out for each other. We must be each other's keeper, brother's keeper. So, Lofty, I also want to thank you for making that effort to be here, because some people may take it for granted that we're here, not realizing the amount of sacrifice it takes.
Indeed.
It takes, to be here, having to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, hustle to prepare for a project, go out there, get the project done, move from one point to the other, find yourself on the ground to do some political work for UPP and the opposition force, then come on the radio program, get home, do something, prepare for the next day. I mean, it's hard work.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And our upcoming event in Campbell, speak to that, Josh, this Thursday.
Yes, this Thursday, the United Progressive Party will be in the Campbell area. Lofty, you can help me as far as the location is concerned. If I can recall, the spot where we'll be is by the bus.
Just
Will be by the bus stop.
The bus stop, yes.
Right. So the people of Campbell, please look out first. Tell your brother, tell your sister, tell your nene, and tell your power that United Progressive Party is coming to your home, and the United Progressive Party is bringing good news, news of hope. The United Progressive Party is coming with a vision. United Progressive Party is coming to get you to understand that you are to join our effort, join us, hands in hands, minds in minds, soul in souls, to rescue Dominica, to deliver Dominica, and to deliver it urgently.
Thank you very much. On what better note, Josh, can we end but this one from our brother right here?
Oh God, lion in a sheepskin and wolves in sheep's clothing.
He calls this one Wolf Catcher. To the man, brother Nasio Fontaine, good evening to you. Dominica's living legend. I personally, brother, and the UPP by extension, I think I can speak for them in that department. Want to thank you very much, my brother. We want to thank you in a very profuse way for being a true soil, a true son of the soil, a patriot of Dominica, has contributed in more ways than one, huh? So, Brother Nasio Fontaine and family, good evening to you in a very, very special way.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, Nasio. Good evening, good evening. Blessings to you, sir.
I'm willing, I'm longing to see the day, Josh.
Yeah.
That this brother holds a concert in his country, and it is dubbed a unity concert.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Maybe you can have a discussion with him, Lofty.
Well, brother, the thought just came, huh?
And this may well be divine. You know, it just came. You know, the Spirit put it into you, so the Spirit has planted the seed. So now you have to go out there and have the conversation with the brethren and see it come into a reality.
I know lots and loads of Dominicans would welcome that, I can tell you that. There will not be space in that park or whatever space that is to hold Dominicans, huh? So Dominicans here and abroad, that is it for us tonight. The United Progressive Party folks, Joshua Francis was here tonight, or is here tonight. And so we'll be leaving you guys, leaving your space in just a bit. But let us never depart from each other's presence, huh? We are just a phone call away, as we're all in this thing together to help Dominica and Dominicans by extension. So see you guys next Saturday if the good or above is willing. To all our Facebookers, good evening to you. And those on YouTube as well, checking the vibes. Don't you know? That day is at hand, huh? I can already feel it, I can see it, I can touch it. All we ask is that you keep hope alive.
Come in your house and then meet up your burden. And when they done, they wanna chop off your head. That's what they'll do, yeah. That's what they'll do.
So whatever is left of your night, please, yes, please do it in moderation, huh? We want you, or we need you in a whole peace tomorrow morning.
Touch the sky. Who are you to judge me?
Those persons who are out there partying tonight,
Yeah, by me, so
please do that in moderation as well, huh?
you think you are big about the wood. Hey, and I
So Josh, finally, your final goodbye to your people.
Well, Lofty, I just wanted to say thank you. And I love our people. Love you, love you, love you. And thank you once again. And looking forward to meet the people of Campbell, is it, on
Yes.
Thursday, and to be back here next Saturday, God's willing. So let's keep going. Please remember us in your prayers. I must say to you that we have been doing the work. We have been in the trenches. We have been in the nook and crannies. We are out there. We are part of a grassroots movement. We're trying to touch every ear in Dominica and touch every heart, touch every mind. And we are a party of inclusion. We understand this is not about us. This is about every Dominican, especially those who are struggling. And Lofty, out of my heart, I can see that there are a lot of people who need relief. There are lots of people who are struggling. They are struggling mentally and emotionally. And for them to get that relief, there must be a change of government. So let us make it happen. Once again, thank you and have a good evening.
enemies and friends alike. One up from another, but you can't divide. Come in your house and then meet up your burden. And when they done, they wanna chop off your head.